Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk about some things that I have learned over my life, but mainly over the last year. There was a lady that's part of the community, and she reached out and said God told her I was going to go through a growing phase, and she kind of thought it would be painful. Well, I'm going to cover some of the things that I've learned, and I think it might help a lot of people. And it's really about how to cut toxic people out of your life. And what does that mean? It sounds mean. Sounds like something Jesus wouldn't do, you know? And that was actually told to me recently. And I started researching and I was thinking, man, that just doesn't sound right. And it turns out Jesus walked away 41 times. There's a book called When to Walk Away. And that's where I found the 41 times. Now, you can go through that and for yourself. But thank you for being here. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content and consider subscribing. This is just me, have nothing to sell you, just some stuff I learned in my notes or notes that I've taken as I think through this and some, legit things that we can all do to help these situations. Now, everybody's heard of blood's thicker than water. And I was wondering, where did that come from? Who came up with that lie? Well, it turns out it's from a book called Guy Mannering, and it suggests that family connections and loyalty play a significant role in shaping characters. Wow, I completely agree. That immediately makes me think of what has happened to society through weak men, and now we're having to deal with society, us, are having to deal with the consequences because they are procreating. Their offspring are getting raised by much weaker men and women. Now, I'm going to go through these notes, and like I said, I wrote them down while I was walking. I can barely read them, but I'll get my thoughts from them. People that don't love other people. Sometimes I heard a Pastor Mark say this. He said, people that don't use money, they use people for money. They love money and use people. Uh, that's something you should pay attention to and notice. And if you notice it a couple of times, you're going to notice what I've noticed is if you talk to somebody and, you know, say 3 times in a row, they gossip, they, um, they do the same thing over and over, and it's a down, it's a draw down. And I've noticed it more as I became somewhat successful. As soon as that started, I started noticing people that were they were incapable of being happy for me. That is an immediate red flag. If somebody, and this goes for a lot of different situations, it's okay to mourn with you. They don't mind mourning with you because, you're going through a hard time and I want to be there for you. But if they're able to be happy for you and celebrate with you over something that you did or a business that worked out or something you're doing that's really working, that is a real way to figure out if they're your real friend. Now, friends, and we're going to talk about family too, because family is the worst when it comes to being manipulative, having a murderous spirit that murders the truth that I wrote down, the truth, the facts, and the narrative. They know everything they do, everything everything they can do to twist you and flip you around. I'm getting ahead of myself. People that won't disagree, they have to be right. It's also the same people that refuse to apologize when they are obviously wrong. They will shift the blame, and they just will not do it. I have taken a stance on that as it's possible that I'm wrong. It's possible that the counterpart is wrong, right? The other side of the table could be wrong, or they could be right. I might be wrong. So try to keep an open mind when you're talking about things. And if you are wrong, make it fast. It's like, man, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong about that. And those kind of people you have to watch and pay attention to. You might have to cut them out. You might have to cut them out completely. That doesn't mean you don't forgive them. That doesn't mean you you don't want the best for them. But as I go through life, I realize how much better life is without those kind of people around. People that take something private and they make it public. That is a red flag. Try to think through that in your own life. Drama. People that love drama, they crave it, they desire it, and every time you're around, they're stirring something, they're talking about something, they're trying to make a problem worse. I call it clucking. Uh, and religious people are awful about it. They will cluck, cackle like chickens, gossip, it just I hate it. It's about something I don't even want to know about. And I was thinking through this. How are you going to soar with the eagles if you're clucking with the chickens? I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty. Everybody's guilty. Gossip. You heard something. You don't know if it's true, but this is what it was. Do your best to refrain from that. And people that do that, because if you hang around people that are doing any of these things, it has a way of drawing you in, making you like them. That's why it's important to make your 5 closest friends very good people. You're the average of your 5 closest friends, the 5 people that's around. And there's a really good chance that 3 or 4 of them probably shouldn't be there. Pushovers. I was told recently that I needed to apologize for something still don't know what it is, and they can't tell me. And then they said I might be considered a pushover. And I got to thinking, is that what we're supposed to be? Who respects a pushover? I'm going to say you need to be somebody that pushes back and ask questions, because I'm not very good at reading between the lines. I want to know exactly. Can you tell me exactly what it is? And usually it's mixed with emotion and drama, and they can't ever say. It's like, if you can't tell me what I'm supposed to, well, you made me feel this way, or I felt a certain way, and you need to apologize for the way I feel. I'm not going to do that. My apologies will be sincere. It's another thing. People that make unsincere apologies, loaded with little digs, you know. I'm sorry for this. I shouldn't have tried to change you. You know, what do you mean? Change what? Nuts. Okay, don't be around these people. Jealous and insecure people. Why would you be around somebody that did not want the best for you? If if you just think to yourself right now of one person you know for sure has trouble being happy for you and doesn't really want the best for you, answer yourself and ask yourself why. Why would I hang around that person? Why would you spend 1 second in their presence? But wait a minute, they're family. Exactly the point. Uh, this whole blood thicker than water thing, uh, if it's anybody that can hurt you, it's family. They know all the tricks. They know all the tricks. And if this family, if the person, the leader of the family, has been manipulated, and that's what they're used to, then they're okay with it. They can't really see it. They can't, because that's how their whole life has been. So try to take it back, reverse engineer the whole thing, and see where it started. Uh, Jacob and Esau. Read that whole story. Uh, you know, he bamboozled his brother Esau. Jacob did, and went to live with his uncle, which was worse than his mom. And he worked 7 years for a wife, and they flipped the script on him, and he married the wrong one. And then if you work 7 more years, you can have my other uh, daughter. And then it was a constant family manipulation the whole time. Is that a good thing? Just because they're family, should you keep putting up with it? That's a good story. All of this is in there. It's amazing. All of it's in the Bible. Every bit of it. It's inexhaustible. Unexhaustible. I don't know. If you're here for the Queen's English, I'm sorry. I was told that the other day. People that she said she didn't know why anybody would listen to a hick. Pretty hurtful. But hey, like I said, no, I don't have the Queen's English. Now, men manipulated by mommy and daddy and wife. There's some strange ties between men, women that are manipulated by their mother, and they let this go on, and it will literally mess up your whole life. Somebody told me we've only got 20 years left. Why can't we just all get along? I was thinking, you're right. We only got 20 years left. We need to be really careful who we try to get along with, you know? And she was talking about, she's an older lady, she was talking about herself. And I asked her some questions about the things she was wanting people to do. I said, would your life be better if you didn't do the things you did? If you didn't submit to others because you crave their approval? Would it be better? Would your life be better? And I said, yeah. I shouldn't have had to said anything else, but I still don't think she understood. People that say cruel and hurtful things consistently, you'll notice a consistent thing that happens. They will just say a little crappy thing and you kind of brush it off. I do it all the time. People think I don't know what's going on. When I'm visiting with really intelligent people and they say little stuff to me that uh, I kind of act like it goes over my head just because I'm just there and I have to try to get through it without really showing out, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to not make a bad situation worse, and I don't really care what that person thinks. That's another thing. It's no business what anybody thinks, what somebody thinks about you. It's not your business. It's none of your business what somebody else thinks about you. But if you make it your business and you're worried about what they think, where's that where does that leave you? Who cares about what people think? Takeaway, man, I got so many notes here. I can't talk too much. But just know, religious people are the worst. They will throw up Jesus this and Jesus that. It's important to know Scripture and come up, know know the Scripture and think through it and pray about it. I am 100% guilty about all of that and not praying about things. Just I make decisions on a whim, and when I do that, I'm usually punished for it. So try to, if you can make yourself do that. I wish I could say I did that and it worked. All of my decisions worked out perfect, but I can't. But if you'll know Scripture, when they start throwing these manipulated Scripture verses that they come up with their own head, you know, they out of context stuff, you can quickly correct it and say, no, it says this, and you can straighten the context out. But just know they're not going to like that. They're not going to like any of this tough love, any of this, if you're not, if it's something you have to address, they're not going to appreciate it. When you're successful and you leave the situation, you don't let them drag you down, and then you're more successful, they're going to hate it. It's like putting heaping coals upon their head. I think that's it, guys. I don't want to keep this too long. I just want people to understand that family, friends, people you look up to, if they're constantly doing something consistently that's a negative, and I'm not saying people can't change, but give them a chance. Give them a chance to change. You don't have to be there. You don't have to be around. And they're going to notice you're not around, and it'll probably hurt them a little bit. But then maybe you'll have the chance to tell them, hey, this is why, and maybe even write down a list. Not hurtful, not, you did this and you did. So, but this is some things that I don't want in my life, and this is kind of the way you've been acting, and I just don't think it's very good for either one of us. So maybe uh, we can come to a conclusion a little bit later on. But as for now, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to. I'm not going to get beat up. I'm not. I don't crave your approval because honestly, I don't care what you think. That's hurtful, but it's the truth. Sometimes the truth is hurtful, and there's black truths that we should probably not talk about. I hold my tongue all the time, and when I don't, I regret it. My grandmother told me a long time ago, um, if you give somebody a piece of your mind, it will cost you dollars and cents. And there's other reasons to not do that. But she's also right about that. She was right about a bunch of things. Those grandmas and grandpas, um, they're right. Pay attention to the older people. They've lived a whole life. Okay, guys, have an awesome, awesome day. We'll see you in the next one. Later.